Hey guys, it's your girl Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, where we teach you how to start at the top of the speaking market instead of working your way up from the bottom. During this show, you will hear solo episodes from me, where I'll show you how I have landed and negotiated 5- and 6-figure speaking contracts and licensing deals. You'll also hear from our amazing guests who have grown enormous speaking businesses by utilizing sales and marketing principles that work. If you want to grow your speaking business, listen to this podcast, and then afterwards, head on over to ashleynicolekirkwood.shop and grab my book, Speak Your Way to Cash, How to Start at the Top of the Speaking Market instead of working your way up from the bottom. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Hey, y'all. What's up to the Speak Your Way to Cash family? It's Ashley Kirkwood back again with another podcast episode. But this time, guys, I am actually going to let you listen in to a live video that I recorded. Now, if you're listening to this live video on the podcast and you're like, oh, I want to join your next live, I want to ask you questions, I want to be able to get feedback about my business, then you have to follow me on Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show, and make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page. All right. Make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page, because that's where I go live. I also sometimes go live in the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group, but enough about that. Even though you may have missed it live, you're about to hear it again. So listen into this live episode and let me know what you think. You can always send me an email to ashley@speakyourwaytocash.com. Let's listen in. Hey, y'all. It's Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, and I am excited to be here today to talk to you a little bit about what mindset shift I had to make in order to go from a $100 fee to a 5-figure fee for my speaking and consulting contract. So here's what we're going to talk about a little bit. The biggest mindset shift that I had to make. And I vividly remember getting the $100 and they gave me a $75 tip. And this is the first time I'd ever been paid to speak. And I was ecstatic. I called my husband. I was like, oh my God, somebody's going to pay me to do what I do all the time, run my mouth. Okay. And he was just like, okay, this is good. This is good. And what's so interesting is it was an all-day engagement. And recently at a webinar that I was doing, a masterclass I asked the people who were attending, I was like, okay, I remember doing 3 talks in my career. I've done way more, but I remember these rates: 100, 1,000, 17,500. And what I asked them was, of these 3 rates, which talk was the longest? Was it the $100 talk? Was it the $1,000 talk? Or was it the $17,500 talk? All of which are contracts I've secured, right? $100, it was still a contract. Don't judge me, y'all. I see you giggling in your car, okay? Don't judge me. So the longest talk was actually the $100 talk. After the $100 talk, the longest talk was a $1,000 talk. This was 2 hours. This was all day. And then this was the shortest talk at $17,500. And it was virtual. Didn't even have to leave my house. And both of these were in person, okay? So both of these talks were in-person talks. And I share that with you to share that a lot of people think more money, more time. Other people think more money, more effort. Some people also think more money, more complex. And those are all thought processes that are hurting you in setting your prices. It's not about any of that. It's about one thing. I'll even say it's about 2 things. For me, there was really 2 shifts that I had to make. And I guess they both relate to each other. They relate to each other. It was really just about my belief. Because what I believed was, in the beginning, when I was charging $100 or $1,000 or $17, or like 100 and 1,000, I'll use as an example. It was really everything I believed was about me. It was like, I set my prices based on me. It was like, what would I charge for this? I think this is expensive. I think this is too easy to get charged for it. I. It wasn't until I shift my belief from that's how you set prices to how I set prices now, which is about value, and not value to me, value to my customer, was I able to set my prices appropriately. So now we set our prices based off the value to the customer, and we always charge less than something's worth. Why do I say that? And a lot of people are like, oh my God, I thought I was supposed to charge my worth. Know my worth, be my worth. Actually, this is against everything I've ever thought about life. Oh no, what's going on here? The truth of the matter is, you are not supposed to charge your worth. I, as a person, am priceless. So whatever I charge, it's not going to be my worth. Now, when I set my prices, I set them for the value, but I always charge less than the value of the product. Why? Because when you buy something, you actually want to charge less than the value. Let me prove it to you, y'all, because y'all are over there like, oh my gosh, this is revolutionary. I have not heard this before. If the value of something to you is $100, and then I price it at $100 because that's the value to you. If I do that, then are you getting more than the value, less than the value, or just the value? You're getting the value. So then you give me 100, I give you something worth 100. Are you in a better place than you were in before, or are you in the same place you were in before? In my mind, you're in the same place. So it's not really a win for you. What I want to do is if the value of it for you is $100, then I want to price it at $50. I want to make the value $100. That way you're getting more than the value. Other way around. That way you're getting more than the value. So if you get more than the value, now you're happy and you win. And that's actually what I want. Like, I want you to get more than the value every single time you work with our company. So you don't price for the value, you price a little bit beneath the value, and then your client gets more than the value. They're happy, they become repeat clients. Now you're building a business. The thing with this is, though, for the service-based business, you want to make sure that you are not pricing beneath what it costs you to provide the service. And if it costs you more to provide the service than your price, now you don't win. A win-win is they get more than they paid for. You make more than it costs you. Now you can run a profitable company. Hopefully y'all are tracking with this. But in the very beginning, because what I did, this is how I used to set my prices. I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna charge $100 because it doesn't cost me anything. Was I right or was I wrong? I was wrong. I thought, oh, well, all I gotta do is show up. So what I was saying was my time didn't cost anything, but 8 hours of my time actually had a cost at the time that I charged $100 for it. 8 hours of my time had a cost. I was still working full time as a federal trial lawyer, making $80 to $85 an hour, not including my bonus. So at the $80 an hour, I should have charged that minimum $800 so that I at least got what my job was giving me. But what my job was giving me wasn't even the true value of the time because they weren't really paying me for all my skill sets. They were just paying me for my legal skill set. They weren't paying me for my speaking skill set, et cetera. So if I was just going to use what I was making at my job, I would have charged $80 an hour. Y'all tracking? So there's a lot of different ways to value time. The biggest mistake I made in the beginning of my career was I undervalued my time. I also charged as though I didn't have a team. I didn't at the time, but if you're growing a business, you will have a team. And so you need to charge for that. So at the time, if I was going to make all the graphics for my speech, I should have been putting in the price of me being a graphic designer. I should have been putting in the price of me having to instructional design the speech. I should have been putting in the price of me having to practice the speech. So not just the time that I was there, the time it takes me to travel there, the time it takes me to practice, all of that should have been included in the price. And then I had my husband come. I didn't charge anything for him. I should have been putting in the time for me to have an additional trainer in the room. So all of these were prices that I did not charge for because I made the quick decision to just charge way beneath what I should have, solely because I was looking at, I could go and do it for free. I didn't have any hard costs. And I think I may have even had handouts. I didn't charge for the cost of the handouts. There were some costs to that. And I can't do anything else for that day. So if you look at your calendar, you guys, when you're a speaker and you look at your calendar, okay? I'm not like an artist. Chris is an artist. Don't judge me on this. If you're watching this on YouTube, on the Ashley Nicole Show YouTube page, or you're watching it on one of our other pages, whatever. Hey, podcast fam, wanted to come and give you a very special invitation to join me at Black Women Sell Live, our live event happening March 17th and 18th in Atlanta, Georgia. It is an in-person event where we will be covering all the details behind our sales strategies and the sales strategies of other seven-figure businesses like ours. I want you in the room. Love that you listen to the podcast. It is going to be an assembling of cash leads like none other. And the fact of the matter is, because you are listening to this episode right now, you can use code PODCAST at checkout for a special gift from me. Hope to see you there March 17th and 18th in Atlanta, Georgia at Black Women Sell Live, our live event covering all things sales for the service-based entrepreneur looking to make more money in their business. If that's you, and I think it is because you're listening to this podcast, then I hope to see you in Atlanta, Georgia, live and in person, March 17th and 18th for the event of the century. So you think about your calendar. I don't know if this is going to be enough days for a whole year, but whatever. Think about it like this. You think about your calendar. Let's say you work 20 days out of any month. Those are the days that you can book for speaking engagements. Once somebody takes that day is off your calendar. You cannot book 2 engagements on one day unless it's virtual. But most people are like, I'm not doing 2 engagements on one day. So let's say someone books me on the 3rd. That day is off my calendar. I can no longer charge for that day. So I have to make sure that my cancellation procedures are set up to accommodate that. I have to make sure that I take that day off the books. I have to make sure that if I give up any engagements on that day, and then this person cancels, I get paid for that because I can't resell that day. So you need to think about your time as a product. When someone takes a product off the lot, they got to pay for it, no refunds. Some speakers are like, I'll give you 50% if you cancel within 3 months, because in a 3-month time period, I get so many inquiries, I can rebook that day. But if you actively market and you take a day off your calendar and you're not actively marketing that day anymore, that should be non-refundable. So you build your policies around that. This is what I didn't know then. In the beginning, I wasn't even thinking like this. And so it was like, 100, 1,000. There was no rhyme or reason to my pricing. I wasn't considering all of the things that I did to get. Is before you believe, you have to tackle your mindset. This is on page 18. If you don't have this book, make sure you get this book, y'all. It's really good. Before you believe, you have to tackle your mindset, including your thoughts. What are you thinking about day in and day out? What informs your thoughts or the rate that you set for yourself? You can trace it back to your mindset. What is your reaction? What is the reaction you have to a $100, $10,000, or $100,000 price tag? What is your personal reaction? What do you personally think? Oh, that's expensive. Oh, I'm not paying that. Oh, that's too much. All of that goes into how you affect your prices, how you set your prices. It really does. Studies show that each of us has about 70,000 thoughts a day. Think about that, 70,000. That's a lot of opportunities to set your mind right or fall into the trap of negative thinking. You either can use those thoughts to remind yourself that your gifts are worth more than money can buy, or you can fall into the trap of thinking that your rate equals your worth. That is not true. This is another big mindset shift. Your rate is not your worth. Whether I'm paid a lot or a little, it has nothing to do with how I value myself as a human. Money is a tool, not a measuring stick. If I have a whole lot, it doesn't mean I'm better than you. If I have a little, it doesn't mean I'm worse than you. It is literally an indicator of the services that I put out into the world, the way I price it, in my business acumen at this point. But it's not a measuring stick. And that's what my money represents. But other people may have gotten an inheritance. So it just means they were born into the right family. Like, it can mean different things to different people. But it's not a measure of your worth. This is why you can go into a $1 billion company and still have something to offer them of value, even though you may not be a billionaire yet. Heavy on the yet, right? Because cash leads are going to get it. Amen. But literally, that is what it symbolizes. And if y'all don't know, like, Cash Leads is the name of our community. It is literally, Cash Leads is defined as an expert who is dedicated to building a revenue-generating business with their expertise by changing the world in a way that only they can. So it's literally just how we build businesses using our expertise, like what we do. That is what we call a cash lead. So everyone in our community, we call y'all cash leads. We hope you love the name. We love the name. We are cash leads. We live by the cash leads creed. And if you don't know what that is, make sure you're at our next live event, because we will be reading the Cash Leads Creed at every live event. And it's going to be dope. So just so y'all know, if I say that, 'cause I don't know if I've actually explained that on the podcast. So shout out to all the cash leads in the building. All right. So cash leads, TM already filed. So don't be like, I don't want to see nobody like, our community is cash leads too. It's not. So that's how you want to think about it. These are some big mistakes I made when thinking about this. I wanted to make sure y'all did not make the same mistakes. Hopefully this was helpful. Pick up the Speak Your Way to Cash book. Part 1 of the book actually covers this in even more depth. If you got a nugget out of this, you got a gem out of this, please share it with at least 3 people. Tag them in the comments. I don't want y'all thinking your rate is your worth. I do want to make sure that if you are a Black woman expert looking to sell more services, who listens to this podcast, who's in our community, if you're a cash lead that wants to make sure you show up and show out and increase your sales, you need to make sure you're at Black Women Sell Live. I've gotten some questions about this. Black Women Sell Live is literally an event that we do to celebrate our largest demographic of customers, which are women who identify as Black women, people who identify as women who identify as Black women. That is our largest demographic of customers. And so during Women's History Month, we're doing an entire event just for y'all to really appreciate you, show love to you, make sure you know how to dominate in this season. You don't have to wait all the way to November to get these gems. Come and get these sales gems now. We have a whole 4-part framework that we go over in the Speak Your Way to Cash book. This event focuses on the I portion of that framework, the invite method. We're going to talk a lot about sales at this event. Mindset will be a little bit of it, but a lot of it will be like sales strategies, putting people on that stage who have really done it so that you can do it too, and then giving you actionable things to do during the event to sell more services. I am thrilled about it. It is incredible. It's the first time we're doing it live. We did it last year virtually, and it was just one of the most impactful events that we've ever done. And so I can't wait to see how that energy will be in the room. Go to speakyourwaytocashsummit.com and get your ticket, and put in code podcast at checkout and get a small gift from me off the ticket price, just because you listened to this show and you showed up and you watched this content and you're engaged in our community. We love our cash leads. Thank y'all for all you do, and I'll see y'all next time. All right, wasn't that interview amazing? If you're anything like me, you have pages full of notes. But here's the thing. Before you head out, I want you to go to facebook.com and join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. That is where I am. That's where a ton of other speakers are, a ton of other people who listen to the show. We all congregate there and chat. And it's 100% free. Now, if you're ready to take your speaking career to the next level, I have 2 ways for you to do that. One, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay and pick up the live replay. That training is 7 modules, chock full of information. It's crazy. Go over there, read all about it. Or if you want a more personal experience, you already know that you want to be a speaker. You're ready to fully commit, and you want someone to walk you through it and save you tons of time Googling and doing it on your own, then book a VIP day with me. You can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com, scroll down until you see the VIP day section, and get more information on that there. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Please do not forget to leave us a review. That is how we keep this train rolling and get some of the best speakers in the world to get on this show. So please, please, please leave a review. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook in the Speak Your Way to Cash group, Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show. And I'd be more than happy to chat with you and say hi. All right, y'all have an awesome, awesome day.